People rejected her because of a disease. They judged her body, but they never saw her heart. Sanaa was beautiful, educated, and faithful. Yet every rishta returned with a cruel comment. She is not healthy enough to be a wife. Her thyroid numbers defined her more than her character, until Allah sent someone whose search was for a pure soul, not a perfect body. Today's story will make you cry, but it will restore your faith in Allah's timing. Because when the world closes every door, Allah opens the one meant for you. She was rejected for her thyroid, but Allah had written a love beyond this world, Islamic story. Sanaa was the kind of woman whose eyes carried galaxies of dreams, whose smile could make even the most stressful day feel calm, and whose intelligence made every conversation with her feel like a journey through stars. Yet she sat alone every night staring at the moon from the balcony of her Hyderabad apartment, asking Allah silently why finding a righteous spouse was so hard for her even though she prayed for it every day. Because no matter how many achievements she added to her name, a respected job in IT, a loving family, and a heart filled with Aman, the word thyroid followed her like a shadow, turning potential rishtas into silent whispers and pitying eyes. And the rejections were not about her deen, not about her character, but about the little pill she swallowed every morning to keep her hormones in balance. And every time someone said, "We're sorry, our son wants a healthy bride," a storm brewed inside her chest, but still she smiled at her parents and hugged them. Because she never wanted her tears to become their burden. Yet late at night, when the world slept and distractions disappeared, she feared. What if Allah didn't write marriage for her? What if she would remain alone forever? And these thoughts made her sajda longer and her du'as deeper as she whispered, "Ya Allah, send someone who sees my heart before my illness, someone who values my deen more than my reports." And her mother would always hold her hand, saying, "Beta, what is written for you will find you even if it is buried under the ocean." And life went on like that. Good days, bad days, thyroid checkups, hope, heartbreak, and a never-ending cycle of proposals that ended before they began. Until one Friday evening after Jumu'ah, her father received a call from an old family friend in Bangalore who said they knew about a righteous young doctor named Salman from a respected Muslim family who wasn't concerned about superficial things like beauty or illness, but wanted a wife who could grow with him in deen, perform tahajjud, and dream of Jannah together. And when Sanaa heard this, her heart wanted a hope, but she kept her expectations low because she had been disappointed too many times, and still she prepared an orange hijab and a soft cream kurti for the meeting, telling herself silently that Allah is with the patient. And as she stood in front of the mirror that evening, she looked at her own reflection, the slight puffiness under her eyes from thyroid, the tiny scar from a biopsy, the courage hidden beneath her hijab. And she said to her soul, "Allah made you exactly how you need to be. Don't let people convince you otherwise." And when Salman arrived with his mother, Sanaa was surprised, not because he was handsome with a kind smile and a doctor's calmness, but because he didn't stare at her like a checklist of flaws. Instead, he smiled respectfully and asked if she liked reading Islamic books, since he noticed a copy of Riyadh Salihin on the table. And as they spoke, she felt something unusual, comfort, natural comfort, like she didn't need to hide her medical reports under the bed or pretend to be someone else. He asked about her job, her deen, her hobbies, and then gently, softly, without judgment, he asked about her health, not with fear, but with understanding. And when she explained about her thyroid and how sometimes it made her tired or anxious, he nodded and said he had treated many patients with thyroid issues and it was manageable with medication. And then he said the line that made her breath pause. A marriage is not a medical report. It is two souls helping each other reach Jannah. And Sanaa felt something in her heart unlock, something she had kept locked away for years. And the family seemed happy. Tea was served, du'as were exchanged, and everyone left with a warm hope in their hearts. But that night Sanaa could not sleep. Something felt weird. Not bad, but mysterious. Salman seemed too perfect, too kind, too understanding. And it scared her because perfection often hides a truth. And though she prayed istikhara with sincerity, placing her heart's confusion before Allah, a strange thought stayed inside her. What if he is hiding something too? And the next morning, as she opened her phone, she found a missed call from an unknown number and then a voicemail filled with heavy breathing and a soft male voice whispering, "You deserve better. Don't trust him." And her heart froze because the voice sounded like a warning, but she deleted it thinking maybe it was a prank, but 2 days later she received another call when she was alone in the office cafeteria, and this time the voice said, "Don't let the doctor fool you. He is not who he claims to be." And fear crawled under her skin because the calls always came when she was away from family, when no one could witness her panic. And she didn't know if she should tell her parents because she didn't want this beautiful hope to shatter. Yet Allah gives signs in strange ways. And one evening, when Salman visited them again, her phone rang right when he was sitting in front of her, and that same voice whispered, "Look behind his smile," sending chills down her spine. And she looked at Salman then, really looked, searching for a hidden truth, and she noticed something. His smile had faded, his eyes had darkened, and he asked her who called because her face had turned pale, but she lied and said wrong number, hiding her shaking hands under the table. And that night, she cried in sajda, asking Allah to protect her if there was danger, but not to take away the happiness she finally felt. In the days that followed, Salman proposed officially, and the families began planning the nikah. But the calls grew darker. "If you marry him, you will regret it." And one evening the caller said something that made her heart roar in panic. "He is not looking for a wife. He is looking for a patient." And Sanaa felt as though the floor beneath her disappeared, because it sounded like a threat to her life, and she gathered courage to tell her brother Adnan about the calls, who immediately became protective and said he would find out who this was. And he traced the number. It was registered under a hospital in Bangalore, the same hospital Salman worked at. And suddenly Sanaa felt betrayed, confused, terrified. Was Salman behind this? Was he manipulating her? Was this some twisted plan? And she confronted him the next day, ready to call off everything if necessary. And when she told him about the calls, instead of being confused, he looked devastated. He buried his face in his hands and tears escaped his eyes, which shocked Sanaa, because she didn't expect a man to cry like that. And then he revealed a truth that changed everything. There was another doctor in the hospital, his cousin Arif, who also wanted to marry Sanaa after hearing about her, but his approach was not noble. He was angry that Salman received the proposal first, and he believed that a girl with a thyroid condition should be grateful for any proposal she gets. And when Salman found out about his cousin's plot to intimidate Sanaa, he confronted him, but the cousin refused to stop. And that night, Sanaa realized the mystery was not about Salman hiding something, but about Allah testing her trust. And Salman apologized for not warning her earlier, saying he wanted to resolve it silently, so she wouldn't stress. And he promised he would protect her always, in this world and in the next. And Sanaa felt her heart bow to Allah in gratitude, because she finally found someone who didn't run away from her illness, but fought for her despite it. And when they eventually married, her thyroid did not disappear, her struggles did not vanish. But she woke up each morning to a love that reminded her she was worth the fight. Every rejection, every tear, every sleepless dua led her to this qadr that Allah had written long before she was born. And sometimes at night, she looked at the stars, remembering the fears she once had, and smiling because Allah answered her with someone who loved her soul more than her body. Someone who whispered during tahajjud, "Jannah will have no thyroid, no hospitals, only eternal peace." And Sanaa finally understood that Allah delays only to gift beautifully. And her story became a reminder to thousands of girls like her that illness is not a curse. It is a means to earn patience. And the right person will see it as a part of your journey, not a defect. And whenever she visited the doctor for thyroid checkups, Salman would hold her hand and say, "I chose you for your Iman. Everything else is manageable." And Sanaa would thank Allah for every rejection that pushed her toward the person written for her heart. My dear brothers and sisters, marriage is not about perfection. It's about taqwa, patience, and the qadr of Allah. If you are waiting for the right person, never lose hope. Raise your hands and say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, because the one written for you will arrive, no matter how impossible it seems. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Deen in a Minute. Let's spread hope, because Allah is always planning a beautiful ending for every believer.